Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to explore an exciting topic, synthetic fibers and plastics. This is the first slide of our presentation, and I'm glad you're here. We'll be covering the basics of what synthetic fibers and plastics are, how they are made, and their impact on our daily lives. So let's get started and discover more about this fascinating subject together. Let's take a closer look at the contents of this section. First, we have Unit II, which focuses on chemicals and materials. This is a broad area that covers various substances used in everyday life and industrial applications. Next, we move on to synthetic fibers, which are man-made fibers created through chemical processes. These fibers are essential because they have properties like durability and flexibility, making them suitable for numerous uses, from clothing to industrial materials. Finally, we come to plastics. Plastics are perhaps the most versatile materials, as they can be molded into countless shapes and forms. They have revolutionized industries and everyday life, but it's also important to consider their environmental impact. Throughout this unit, we'll explore how these materials are produced, their uses, and their significance in modern technology and society. This all ties back to understanding the role of chemicals and materials in shaping our world. Welcome to Unit II, where we'll be exploring chemicals and materials. In this section, we'll focus on understanding the vital role these substances play in various industries and applications. Chemicals and materials are fundamental to innovation and development, impacting everything from manufacturing to environmental management. As we go through this unit, I want you to keep in mind how these elements connect to broader themes like sustainability, safety, and technological advancement. We'll look at how different materials are created, their properties, and how they are used responsibly. This foundation will help you appreciate the importance of choosing the right chemicals and materials for the right purposes. So, let's dive into this fascinating topic and see how it all ties into the bigger picture of our field. Let's talk about natural fibers. So, a fiber is basically a thin thread, which can come from natural or artificial sources. These fibers are really important because they're used to make things like cloth and ropes that we use every day. Now, fibers can be grouped into two main categories, natural and synthetic. Today, I want to focus on natural fibers. These are obtained directly from natural sources, which include both animals and plants. For example, wool from sheep or cotton from plants. Understanding these natural fibers helps us appreciate their role in textiles and how they connect to sustainable and eco-friendly practices in the industry. Let's start with cotton. Cotton fiber is actually obtained from the cotton plant, and it's one of the most traditional fibers used in the textile industry. You'll find it everywhere because of its softness and breathability, making it ideal for clothing and textiles that we use daily. Next, we have linen. Linen fabric comes from the flax plant. Interestingly, its properties are very similar to cotton, which means it's also quite comfortable and durable. Linen is often chosen for its coolness and crisp feel, especially in warmer climates. Finally, jute. Jute is obtained from the jute plant, and it's known for its high strength. Because of this, jute is perfect for use in packaging materials, like sacks and bags, where durability is key. All these fibers are essential in the textile world, each with unique properties that suit different needs. They connect to our overall theme by showing how natural plant fibers have been vital in fabric production for centuries, combining tradition with modern use. Let's talk about some common animal fibers that are used to make different textiles. First, we have silk. Silk is obtained from silkworms, and the most popular type of silk comes from the mulberry silkworm. This fiber is known for its smoothness and luxurious feel, making it highly valued in the textile industry. Next, we have yak fiber. Yaks are animals mainly found in the Himalayas, in regions like India and Tibet. The hair of the yak is very useful because it can be woven into warm clothes, as well as mats and sacks. It's especially important in colder climates where warmth is essential. Finally, there's wool, which we mostly get from sheep. Wool fabric is soft to the touch and provides excellent insulation against cold weather, which makes it a preferred choice for winter clothing. Connecting all these, you can see how different animal fibers contribute to our clothing and other textile needs, especially in various climates and regions. All right, let's talk about synthetic fibers. These are man-made fibers created through chemical processes, and they play a significant role in the textile industry. Unlike natural fibers like cotton or wool, synthetic fibers are designed to have specific properties, such as increased durability, elasticity, or resistance to water and stains. Some common examples include polyester, nylon, acrylic, and spandex. These fibers are incredibly versatile and are used in a wide range of products, from clothing and sportswear to industrial applications. One of the key advantages of synthetic fibers is their cost-effectiveness and ease of production, which helps keep prices lower for consumers. However, it's also important to consider environmental impacts, as many of these fibers are derived from non-renewable resources and can be difficult to recycle. Connecting this to our overall theme, synthetic fibers have revolutionized how we approach textile manufacturing, offering practical benefits but also raising sustainability questions. As we continue exploring textile materials, understanding both their advantages and challenges is crucial for making informed choices. Let's take a closer look at synthetic fibers. These are man-made fibers, crafted from various chemicals. Because of this, each type of synthetic fiber has its own unique properties. One of the key advantages is that they tend to be longer and more durable, making them suitable for a wide range of uses. However, it's important to remember their limitations as well. For example, synthetic fibers don't absorb moisture well, which can be a drawback in certain applications. Additionally, they are quite flammable and can catch fire easily. Understanding these characteristics helps us see how synthetic fibers fit into the broader textile industry and their role in our daily lives. Let's take a closer look at the different types of synthetic fibers. Many items of clothing we wear daily are made from materials like polyester, polyamide, toluene, and rayon. These are all examples of man-made fibers, which are collectively known as synthetic fibers. They are created through chemical processes rather than natural sources. Recognizing these fibers helps us understand how clothing is manufactured and the properties that make these fabrics popular. They often offer durability, elasticity, and resistance to wrinkles and shrinking. So, when you see these names on labels, remember they refer to synthetic fibers designed to improve our clothing and textile products. Let's take a closer look at the structure of synthetic fibers. Essentially, a synthetic fiber is made up of a chain of small chemical units joined together. These small units are called monomers. Think of monomers as the building blocks that link together to form a larger structure. When many of these monomers connect, they create a long chain known as a polymer. This chain gives the fiber its strength and flexibility. The process that links the monomers into these large chains is called polymerization. Understanding this process helps us see how synthetic fibers are formed and why they have the properties they do. It's a fundamental concept that connects to the overall theme of how synthetic materials are engineered at the molecular level. Rayon is a fascinating fabric because it's prepared from cellulose, which is a natural polymer found in plants. However, even though cellulose is natural, it requires quite a bit of chemical treatment to transform it into rayon. This process essentially makes it an artificial fiber, which is why it's sometimes called artificial silk. One of the great qualities of rayon is that it absorbs moisture well, making it very comfortable to wear, especially in warmer weather. Additionally, it can be easily dyed in bright, vivid colors, giving designers a lot of flexibility. Overall, rayon combines the comfort of natural fibers with the versatility of artificial materials, fitting well into our broader discussion of textile innovations. Nylon is a fascinating material, and chemically, it's classified as a polyamide, which means it's a type of polymer. It's actually the strongest synthetic plastic material we have, and one of its great advantages is that it can be molded into virtually any shape you need. That makes it incredibly versatile. It's also known for being strong and easy to dye, so it can be customized in many ways for different uses. An interesting property of nylon fibers is that they do not absorb water easily, which contributes to their durability, making them suitable for many applications where moisture resistance is important. Plus, nylon is elastic, meaning it can stretch without breaking, which adds to its overall durability. This combination of strength, flexibility, and water resistance is why nylon plays such a vital role in textiles and manufacturing, fitting perfectly into the broader theme of innovative synthetic materials that enhance our everyday lives. Let's talk about polyester. When alcohol reacts with an organic acid, they form compounds called esters, which are actually polymers. These polymers are what we refer to as polyesters. You'll find that polyesters are quite popular and are sold under well-known brand names like Turaline, Dacron, Terran, and simply polyester. These materials are widely used because of their durability and versatility. Understanding how polyesters are made helps us appreciate why they are such a common choice in textiles and manufacturing today. Acrylic is often used as a substitute for wool, and for good reason. It's a versatile fiber that offers many of the benefits of wool, but with some added advantages. For example, acrylic fibers are quite strong, which makes garments and textiles more durable over time. They are also wrinkle-resistant, so you don't have to worry about ironing or maintaining a crisp appearance. Another key point is that acrylic is very easy to wash and dries quickly, making it convenient for everyday use. Plus, it has excellent resistance to moths, oils, and chemicals, which helps extend the lifespan of the fabric. And because it's resistant to deterioration from exposure to sunlight, acrylic textiles can hold their quality even when used outdoors or in sunny environments. Overall, acrylic fits well into the broader theme of choosing fibers that combine practicality with performance, making it a popular choice in many applications where durability and ease of care are priorities. Let's talk about blending fibers. When we blend Turaline with cotton, we get what's called terracotta, which is commonly used for making dress materials because it combines the durability of Turaline with the comfort of cotton. Now, blending polyester with cotton results in fabrics that are more crease-resistant, making garments look neater with less ironing needed. Moving on, when Turaline is blended with wool, we call it terrywool. This blend is used as a cost-effective substitute for pure woolen clothes, giving a similar look and feel, but at a lower price. Lastly, acrylic blended with wool creates trousers that are less expensive than pure wool trousers, making wool-like clothing more accessible. These blends are really important because they help us achieve desired qualities in fabrics while also managing costs, which ties back into how we can make quality clothing more affordable and practical. Let's take a closer look at some of the key advantages of synthetic fibers. First, they are known for their strength, which means they can easily handle heavy loads without tearing or breaking. This makes them very durable for various applications. Another great feature is their elasticity. Synthetic fibers can be stretched out quite a bit and then return to their original shape, adding to their versatility. When it comes to colors, synthetic fibers have an advantage because they are manufactured with a wide variety of colors. This means manufacturers can easily produce vibrant and consistent shades, which is a big plus for clothing and textiles. They also retain their original shape well, which makes them easier to wash and wear without losing form or appearance over time. This is especially important for everyday clothing. Most synthetic fibers are soft, making them comfortable to wear, which is another reason they are popular in clothing items. Finally, in terms of cost, clothes made from synthetic fibers are generally more affordable compared to natural fibers. This accessibility makes them a practical choice for many consumers. Overall, these advantages highlight why synthetic fibers are so widely used in our daily lives and products. Now, let's talk about some disadvantages of synthetic fibers. First, they do not absorb moisture, which means they don't soak up sweat like natural fibers do. This can trap heat inside the fabric, making us feel uncomfortable, especially during hot weather or physical activity. Next, there's the danger near fire. Synthetic fibers catch fire easily and can burn quickly, which makes them risky to wear around open flames or heat sources. Safety is definitely a concern here. Another point is the rough feel. Sometimes, synthetic fabrics can feel coarse or harsh against the skin, which makes them less suitable for clothing like pajamas or underwear that are meant to be soft and comfortable. And finally, ironing synthetic fibers can be tricky. They tend to melt easily if exposed to high heat, so they can't be ironed as simply as natural fabrics. This means extra care is needed to keep the clothes looking neat. Overall, while synthetic fibers have their advantages, it's important to be aware of these disadvantages to make informed choices about what we wear. Let's talk about plastics. Plastics are everywhere in our daily lives, from packaging to products we use every day. They are incredibly versatile, which is why they have become so popular. However, their widespread use also raises important environmental concerns. Plastic waste can persist in the environment for hundreds of years, harming wildlife and polluting ecosystems. Recycling and reducing plastic consumption are key strategies in tackling these issues. As we continue to explore sustainable solutions, understanding the impact of plastics helps us make more informed choices and work towards a healthier planet. Let's talk about plastics. Plastics are everywhere in our daily lives, from packaging to consumer products, and even in the construction industry. They're lightweight, durable, and versatile, which makes them incredibly useful. However, their very durability is also what makes them problematic for the environment. Many plastics don't biodegrade easily, leading to long-lasting waste that pollutes our oceans, soil, and ecosystems. Recycling can help, but it's not always enough, and not all plastics are recyclable. This is why understanding the life cycle of plastics and exploring sustainable alternatives is so important. It ties into our broader theme of environmental impact and the need for responsible consumption and waste management. Thermosetting plastics, or thermoset plastics, are known for being hard and rigid. Examples of these materials include bakelite and melamine, which have been widely used for many decades. What's interesting about thermosets is that they can be molded into any shape you want, which makes them very versatile during manufacturing. However, once they are set, they cannot be remolded or reshaped like some other plastics. They are typically dark in color, and their hardness, combined with resistance to heat and electricity, makes them very useful in practical applications. For instance, you'll often find thermoset plastics used for the handles of kettles and pans because they don't get hot easily and provide good insulation. In the past, many electrical items such as black telephone sets, electric switches, lamp holders, pins, and plugs were made from thermoset plastics. This is because of their durability and insulating properties, which are crucial for safety and longevity. So overall, thermoset plastics play an important role in everyday electrical and household items due to their strength, heat resistance, and insulating qualities. They are an essential part of the broader story of how plastics have been developed and used to improve our lives. Now, let's take a closer look at thermoplastics. These materials are characterized by their softness and flexibility, which makes them quite versatile. Unlike rubber or steel springs, they are not elastic, so they don't bounce back in the same way, but they do have a unique ability to melt when heated and then regain their shape upon cooling. This property allows us to reshape them repeatedly without degrading their quality. Thermoplastics can be drawn into very fine fibers, which is useful in textile and fiber production. They can also be molded into virtually any shape you can imagine, making them highly adaptable for different manufacturing processes. Additionally, they can be stretched or spread into sheets, depending on the application. Some of the most well-known thermoplastics include nylon, also known as polyamide, polyesters, polyethylene, PVC or polyvinyl chloride, acrylic, polyurethane, polypropylene, and polytetrafluoroethylene, often called PTE. Recognizing these common types helps us understand their widespread use in everyday products, from packaging to textiles and beyond. Overall, thermoplastics are essential in modern manufacturing because of their ease of shaping and versatility, connecting directly to how we design and produce a broad range of materials. Now, let's talk about some of the key properties of plastics that make them so versatile. First, plastics are resistant to corrosion, which means they don't easily break down or get damaged when exposed to moisture or other environmental factors. This durability is one of the reasons they last so long in various applications. Next, thermoplastics are particularly interesting because they can be recycled. This makes them more environmentally friendly compared to other materials, as they can be reprocessed and used again, reducing waste. Plastics also resist high temperatures, allowing them to be used in situations where heat is a factor, without losing their integrity. And they are generally not reactive to chemicals or water, which means they won't easily corrode or degrade when in contact with various substances. Another important property is that plastics are good insulators. They can insulate heat and electricity effectively, which explains their widespread use in electrical and thermal insulation. Plus, they are water-resistant, making them suitable for products that need to withstand moisture. Many plastics are elastic, meaning they can stretch or bend without breaking, adding to their flexibility. When they are hot, plastics tend to be soft, which allows for molding and shaping during manufacturing processes. All these properties, resistance to corrosion, recyclability, heat resistance, chemical stability, insulating ability, water resistance, elasticity, and softness when hot, highlight why plastics are such a valuable material in so many industries. They combine durability, versatility, and adaptability, fitting into a broad range of applications that support our everyday lives. Now, let's talk about plastics and their impact on the environment. Recycling waste plastic is incredibly important because if we don't, these plastics can harm many animals and contribute significantly to pollution on our planet. It's also crucial to understand that most plastics are not biodegradable, meaning they don't break down naturally in the environment over time. A few years ago, scientists made a breakthrough with photodegradable plastics, which can be broken down by sunlight. However, this process still takes a very long time, so it's not an immediate solution. Recently, there has been exciting progress with the development of biopolymers, or biodegradable plastics. These materials, like plastics made from cornstarch, can dissolve rapidly in water and rot much more easily. This innovation could really help us reduce plastic pollution and move toward a more sustainable future, tying into our overall goal of protecting the environment.